This is Gears of War. We're doing a comparison between the original and the Ultimate Edition, both of them running on Xbox Series X. Why are both of them running on the Series X? Well, the point here is that both have now been FPS boosted. So I've been, for a long time, wanting to go back and do a comparison between Ultimate Edition and the original Gears of War, just to kind of, put them side by side, take a look at them. So obviously, if it's not noticeable, on the right we have the original Gears of War experience, runs at 720p, 60 FPS, no auto HDR support. And on the left we have Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which runs at 1080p with 60 FPS and auto HDR support. So I'm not showing off the multiplayer because we can't really find players and there's no bots, so I can't set that up. So it's mostly a look at the campaign. And if you're wondering, yeah, it's kind of impossible to line these two up perfectly because cutscene wise, they're completely different cutscenes. Like, these cutscenes, they don't look the same. They get the gist across in the same way, but some are longer here, some are longer there. It's completely different style choices, which is totally fine. But gameplay wise, most stuff, as you're seeing, is kind of lined up, and you can see the big difference in terms of the visual quality and the fidelity that has changed. So with the Ultimate Edition being like a remastering, a reworking of that original experience, it is the game you know, but they've just taken some, artistic improvements and choices here or there to alter and enhance that original experience. But the coolest thing is to show this off, both of these running at 60 FPS, and it's great that I guess Unreal Engine is so versatile with the FPS boost that we're able to just kind of like pump these Gears games up and enjoy, whether you want that original aesthetic or the modern upgraded version of it. You can take both of them in and you can kind of appreciate what they've got going on here, and I think that's fantastic. Now, these videos do take a ton of work to do these side by side, so liking the video is great, subscribing is great as well, and it's just something I've wanted to do, was like, hey, let's go look at the original Gears, let's compare it to that upgraded version. And this is a perfect time to do so, because now they have an equal, kind of frame rate that they're delivering for us, and I think that's fantastic. I really do like that we have this increased level of fluidity, and I do believe you can kind of enjoy either version of the game. I do appreciate the grittiness, the darkness, and the more, I guess you would say, visceral, intense version that the original provides, but at the same time, I do think Ultimate Edition has greatly enhanced the visual fidelity and quality of the experience. I would really love it if they at some point had time to actually go and give us a proper optimized version of Ultimate Edition. I think that would be fantastic. I don't think it would be too intensive for them to do. Those higher resolution assets are available on the PC side of things. It's just a matter of putting the time in for that kind of effort, and I really wish they would, or if they could do some sort of resolution improvement, because Ultimate Edition looks great. It really does. Cutscenes, beautiful. Character models, the visual assets, the textures, fantastic. But, there is quite a difference between having that full resolution quality that we definitely can get in the current generation here, and what was basically available back then, and it feels limiting almost, but still, stark differences between the two. Again, tried my best to get them side by side. It's really hard to do in games. It honestly is. At times perfectly, other times it's like oof. But yeah, it's just kind of like I was filming them and I'm like, oh, this would be the perfect time to compare these two games, and I was like, yes. So, we'll do some like skips here or there, as you've been seeing, in order to kind of line things up at times. And we're just showing off the beginning area of the game. It's the most like similarly scripted, if that makes sense. Like, Gears isn't a game where you're going off and doing like huge open world experiences. It's quite linear, but this original setup, just in like cutscenes wise, gameplay wise, it's very well set for doing this type of thing. And most games are, actually. Their openings typically are best for doing comparisons. But just like, the huge difference here, and this was something I thought about way back when I was doing my, initial review of Ultimate Edition, was that, hey, is the game too vibrant and colorful with the Ultimate Edition? Because the first one, when you think of the original Gears, you think of like dark, gritty, creepy, very atmospheric. You think of Ultimate Edition, it's very much still got that like spirit of darkness and creepiness, but it's just like a lot more vibrant and well lit. It's not as dark. Like, it feels like more of a realistic place. And I think maybe, stylistically, you almost would be like, huh, that is a very big change up between the two of them. You know, I still think the humor is there. Actually, I love the art direction and the style of Ultimate Edition cinematics a lot more than I do even the original Gears of War experience. I just think they, like, the original one seems a little bit almost slower, like I was saying earlier, slower at times and whatnot, but, you know, the way they've sort of done the Ultimate Edition, you know, cinematics, I really like that, because it's got a better, like, pacing to me, better pacing style. It's got more dynamics and more realism and movement to it. It's really quite cool, actually. But at the same time, you look at the original version, you're like, that is insanely impressive for its time. Like legitimately, like, it was a groundbreaking game. It was, you know, it really showcased what the 360 could do back in the day. And it would be fun to do like a 360 comparison to, you know, now how it's running. But I think kind of shaping them up and putting them together with that like frame rate increase, just kind of showing that, hey, the Series X not only allows us to enjoy this more enhanced version, but it also improves our, you know, the heritage of our games, the legacy of our titles, so that we could go back and more easily enjoy that original version. A lot of time I do these comparisons and I'm like, oh, that original version is, it's rough, you know, it's usually quite rough, you know, frame rate and everything like that, but now that we've got it FPS boosted, it's like, hey, you want to go back and play that original version? Totally fine, you know, it feels great. And then also, you know, we're kind of almost not even giving great consideration to the fact that, hey, the new one's FPS boosted too, so it's even running better. And I think that's just like a really fun comparison to be made here between the two. But I think that kind of just like almost wraps up what I can say and compare about these details. You know, the biggest changes, cinematics-wise, gameplay-wise, it's practically the same thing. Obviously, you know, if you're, well, I guess maybe not obvious if you haven't played it, but the Ultimate Edition does include additional story content that was available on the PC version, like Games for Windows Live. Yeah, funny that word, if you even know what that is. So it has additional content that the original Gears of War does not, so it actually extends some of the act a little bit, the later act, and you can kind of enjoy that. So I think that's a benefit for Ultimate Edition. And the multiplayer, just really beautifully reworked for Ultimate Edition. They did fantastic, just phenomenal, actually, job with the multiplayer. And it's a shame it's so hard to find players that are enjoying this. So, you know, again, we've got the original 360 version running on the Series X with that FPS boost. We've got, well, I guess the Xbox One version, Ultimate Edition, FPS boosted Series X. There's also a PC version of that available, so I mean that will give you even more extended options in regards to pushing it even further. And I do hope at some point, again, at some time in the future, that they do actually revisit this classic and do something even further with it, and I'd love to check that out. But for now, that's Gears of War Ultimate Edition versus Gears of War on the Series X, and just enjoy the rest of the gameplay and the comparison here. Oh, and once again, liking the video, subscribing is great as well.
Nice. Got it. Shit.
Control, this is Delta. We have visuals on Alpha. Possible KIA. No sign of resonator.
Roger that, Delta. Keep looking.
I'll open the door. I've got the code.
Oh yeah. hope that's not Ross down there. His little boy just turned 2 last week.
Well, it could be Alpha.
Cog tags are gone.
Is that the resonator?
Nah.
Now what?
Let's get that resonator.
Marcus. What do you think? What do I think? It could be Alpha, or it could be the Locust setting a trap. There's only one way to know for sure.
Inside the House of Sovereigns.
Our next target is House of Sovereigns. Straight ahead. Move!
Nice! Sweet. Grab hold!
Lock him up!
Got one!
You're so tough! Another grab hold! Get a frag there!
Dust to dust! I think we're good. Let's grab some ammo.
Follow me!
What the hell, man? Those holes could...
Looks like we need to split up. Phoenix, you and Carmine will go left. Dom and I will go right.
Yes, sir. Grubs!
Copy that. Flank 'em. We've got a grab hold!
All clear.
Fall in! You good?
Yeah, but I got a problem. Something's wrong with this thing. It keeps jamming. See?
Sniper! Take position!